I think a big problem with how society is everyone focuses on the bad. I can do 9 good things for you, but I can do 1 bad thing, and you'll always remember me more for the 1 bad thing I did. Stop focusing on the bad so much, because if you manifest bad, that's what comes. I want to bring that happiness back.
3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to episode 71 of Ruse Radio. We are back at it again with a very special guest, another 60 Seconds alumni. Sir, could you introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah, what's going on? Zachary Scott from Life Right Now, X It Lies Within. Super happy to be here.
X It Lies Within. So where did the change occur?
Well, honestly, man, it was kind of funny. I was thinking about it on the way here, coming to see you. And I remember the last time we actually did an interview. And I never actually told you this, but during that time was actually during kind of like the end phase of It Lies Within. So like that interview alone was, I don't want to say like odd for me, but it was kind of like, it was an interview to where I really didn't know the place of where we were. So it was kind of funny that you brought that up. And I was thinking about that again on the way over here. But, you know, at the end of the day, man, I absolutely, love my baby. It's my baby. And, It Lies Within, got me to where I am personally. And I got to share all those times and moments with my best friends, locally, that's the band that I got to start with the guys from the same area, you know what I'm saying? And then basically, life happens, man. People get married, people have kids, you know what I mean? And life comes at you hard. And then I guess I call it adulting or whatever that is. I don't know. But, to each their own. And so therefore, man, you just got to start making different moves. And as we were kind of moving people around in and out of It Lies Within, purely it just didn't start to feel like It Lies Within anymore. So basically, we basically just kind of took a little hiatus. You know what I'm saying? And Kyle came to me, who he had played in It Lies Within for a couple years from North Carolina, because I'd actually got him from Deception of a Ghost. This is when we kind of started filling in different members from different places, different talents, I should say, in a sense as well. You know what I mean? Bringing different things to the table. And Kyle came to me. We had actually brought in Justin DeMarco of Nevada Rose. Again, a band we toured with, kind of bringing in other people. He's out in New Jersey and Baltimore. So at this point, again, the feeling of It Lies Within was kind of just basically starting to kind of go in a different direction anyways, without us even knowing. And Kyle and Justin approached me about it. I said, hey, man, I understand where you're coming from. Let's just try to write some songs without living under the standard of It Lies Within. And then basically that's where Life Right Now came into play, and here we are.
Interesting. So it was like you could tell it was drifting away from what it once was. And then by separating yourself from whatever you were trying to keep, like rather than having that loose thread of let's try to be this, let's just try something completely different. And so your sound, would you say, is even different then completely?
I would say there's definitely many similarities, but it's definitely different in many ways, many ways. More mature, I guess, is really the biggest thing I want to say.
Yeah.
Especially bringing in the new guys with the new talent. These guys come from other great bands that have been signed to other labels and stuff like that. They've been there, done it, and then to collaborate with them. And then for us all, again, to just have the freedom and the open mind of just kind of writing what we all want to write without, again, the boundaries or the guidelines of kind of what It Lies Within was. Man, some really cool stuff came out of it. And I'll be honest, in my opinion, it's some of the best music I've ever written. I'm just so happy to be a part of it.
How is it different for people who are familiar with It Lies Within?
Just like I said, I want, it's just more mature. Obviously, as you grow in your craft, you know what I mean? Everybody just gets better, or at least you're supposed to, we're road warriors. So, you take that craft and then you go on the road and then you play it in front of different people, different cultures, different countries, and you really start to figure out what works and what doesn't, you know what I mean? And so, basically, we just collabed so hardcore, and basically we just, again, there's more freedom to do a little bit more pop singing, throw in harmonies, things that really like a lot of metal bands or metalcore bands were afraid to do because it'd get too poppy or whatnot, you know what I mean? And then on the other end, like I grew up from Flint, Michigan, man, you know what I mean? And the roots of Flint, I don't care what anyone says, is rap, in hip hop, in my opinion. And so like, I've always wanted the chance to kind of show off those skills because that's what I was like brought up on a lot, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I get the opportunity to do some scat is what I call it, you know what I'm trying to say?
Like corn.
Yeah, in a sense, and it just feels natural, you know what I mean? So again, to be able to have that freedom along with the EDM, you know, and basically I call it partycore, man. You know, it's my new little genre I want to put out there that, you know, life right now is partycore. You know, you come to it's not a show, it's a party.
How'd you come up with the name?
Literally, man, it's just life right now. I literally don't, like, we're all in the studio, you know, and just kind of kicking it. And of course, we were just trying to, I mean, we weren't trying to beat it to death of like, let's think of a band name. Let's think of a band name. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like one of those natural things that where someone just kind of said it and threw it out there again. You know what I mean? It's just like, dude, we're living life right now. Or, you know what I mean? Or let's write about things in life right now. You know what I mean? It just kind of came out and just like, and we didn't like right away hit it. It was weird because it was like this thing where like, I remember us just kind of like just saying it. Like it's just something that everyone was just kind of saying in that studio session, you know, or whatever. And so it's just like, it just stuck, you know what I mean? And yeah, so it just kind of, it was pretty cool, man. You know, it just fits really good. And I mean, it makes things a tad easy to write about because I mean, obviously, you know what I mean? Why not just write about life right now?
It sounds a little bit like, to me, it almost implies something positive, like life right now, as in like life is happening right now, or this is life right now. Like the music is life right now. And so, yeah, it's almost like it's speaking for itself, the title. I like the name.
Yeah, thank you very much. Like I said, man, it's just more fun, you know what I mean, than anything. And I mean, again, you could apply that to anything. And I think that's what I like mostly about it. It's just a general name, you know what I mean? And but I'm saying it can be applied to anything,
Exactly.
Whatever's going on in your life. Good
right
or
now.
bad or events or whatever may be right now, you know what I mean? It's that vibe, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
you know.
So where are we at in the creative process when it comes to what we're working on now?
Oh, well, I mean, you know, it basically, you know, I guess I just want to start from the fact that, you know, going back to COVID, I mean, I think everybody needs to kind of touch on that because I think the industry took a real big swing. You know, it stopped in a lot of places and it picked up in a lot of places. And definitely it was kind of an odd place for life right now because we had literally just started the band, you know, a year and a half before COVID, came out swinging, dropped our first album, did a huge tour with Attila and Crown the Empire, which is one of the largest tours of our career, you know, right off the rip. It was the very first tour. And then all of a sudden, boom, COVID hits and just kind of halts us, you know what I mean? So, you know, give or take 2 years. And I say 2 years because like, some bands were starting the tour come back a little bit early and you kind of started to see people kind of complaining about, oh, why are you putting this many people in a venue right now? Like, oh, why are you supporting this? And like fans actually were starting to get really mad and fans were really starting to boycott it. You know what I mean? And I mean, I don't mean to be rude or anything of to whoever anyone believes, but at the same time, like as a performer, I don't want to go and not have my fans sing the lyrics, meaning wearing masks in front of me and not being able to sing back at me and see their expressions. That's no fun to me. And then getting into this whole, again, it's only my opinion, this whole like, you almost saw the industry try to take this sway to where like they're doing like internet shows. I mean, you know, bands are literally going to venues and playing in front of nobody just to play for an internet show and selling tickets, you know, and that to me, man, I mean, I love technology and I love the future, but man, that gets a little scary to me. You know what I mean? When you start to take the social interaction out of a performance in a show, man, and people are literally paying for tickets to watch you on a TV screen as a musician, I don't know how that sits with me, but I think we'll have to get used to it and adapt, but hopefully not for a long time, my man. You know, so
at that point in time, it made sense. When it happened then, it made
100%,
sense.
and it's a business in the end of the day. So again, I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. You know, I'm curious because I see a lot of the artists that did it, you know, are large industry artists that aren't technically owned by themselves. They are owned by other people and entities, which is just fine. But what I mean by that was it their choice?
It was incentivized. Yeah.
So I don't know. But
Yeah.
we'll let everybody else make their own choices on that. You know what I'm saying? So where we're at right now is basically we took a little bit longer than everybody. We let the noise die down. You know what I'm saying? And so basically we came, and so what we did is we just kept putting out singles. We stayed busy. We put out music. You know what I'm saying? We let everybody know, hey, we're still here. We're putting out music videos even. You know what I'm saying? So. And we got a great opportunity earlier this year. The buddies of ours in the band, The Bunny the Bear, which is a band that has some hype and clout, always has, you know what I mean? And they took us right out just to get us right back out and swinging. So we did a killer tour. And that was really a good thing for us because the tour did, I don't want to say better than we expected because we expected great. But I mean, it was really like our fans came out. They hadn't seen us in that long, dude. You know, and when I say fans, I mean, I do literally mean fans also of It Lies Within, you know, which is really cool because it's the rollover. I literally really feel life right now picked up right where it lies within left off. It wasn't a backward step by any means whatsoever, especially on the touring. We just got right back in and started swinging, man. You know, we're already back in the major leagues, and it feels good, man. So the shows went well. Fans came out, they pulled up, dude. You know what I mean? It was absolutely amazing. And so then we came back home, back in the studio, writing more music. We just cut a new music video. That'll be coming out soon. We haven't announced it yet. But I mean, we are just in the lab. I mean, I am so happy, honestly, man, with where this band is going. I don't feel like I've been this busy in so long.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, how does one deal with such a workload, so much work all the time? How would you handle that? I mean, how does he deal with it so positively? How does he stay so positive throughout all that? It's a whole lot for one man to handle. So I've been thinking about this. How can I help people with these struggles in life, you know, dealing with such workloads that we have to deal with every single day? I mean, most of us, we're working through a million things, am I right? So how do we deal with it? Well, there's some natural remedies out there. There's some ways to do it that are not at all harmful. And one of my favorites is CBD. I am happy to say that this episode is sponsored by CBDfx. Why is CBDfx so great? Because they make it nice and easy for you to get your CBD. That's right. It's how I get mine. Let me show you. CBDfx. That's right. Right here on my shoulder, as you guys can see, I've got the turmeric and spirulina blend. Yeah, it's amazing. It is so good for you. Recently, they just made these twice as potent versions of their gummies, which is also what I've got here wrapped around my neck. It's crazy. So if you guys are interested in this, if you're interested in making your life better, chilling out, maybe just hanging out with some CBD on your shoulder. Well, let me tell you, I know how to do it. I know how to do it in a way that's better than all the other ways. And all you got to do is go inside of the link in our description, and you're going to get $20 off your first order of $65 or more. That's right. That's a whole lot of savings. You're going to get CBD. You're going to love it. It's going to be awesome. I can guarantee it. I'm serious. I can guarantee it. Now, what was it that Zachary Scott just said?
I don't feel like I've been this busy in so long.
I'm sure a whole lot of us can understand that. And let me tell you why. Yeah, and I think a lot of people are aching to get back out into the world. And so I think that's another big part of why, because I've heard this sentiment a lot recently where now the artists are back out and doing shows, people are like craving this. When they go out to shows, they have been needing it for years. And so you can see it on their faces and the way that they're enjoying the music. It's almost like the fact that they were deprived of it for so long just makes it better that we get to go out to shows now. So, and speaking on the whole playing live thing, I mean, a lot of comedians didn't want to do those drive-up gigs and stuff like that because of what you're describing. You lose an element of the live interaction when you either add barriers, like if you make people sit in their cars or everybody's got to wear a mask or whatever. You lose that human interaction that was occurring that made it so magical. And so I could never blame an artist for not wanting to go out on those circumstances. It's just like, it sucks that it was such a divisive topic and there was no wiggle room, because to me, it's not the same. And for you to go and do a live show online is not the same. Even though it can be very entertaining and you could put something together that'd be real elaborate, it's never going to be the same thing as me paying for a ticket, going out and seeing you live, and feeling that energy in the room and in the crowd, because that's the real thing about live events to me.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah,
you know?
and it's, you can't have that if you're putting things in between you and the audience. And of course, there's definitely corporate incentives for those live shows, and everybody's got to make money. I mean, that was the big problem with all of that, was just that nobody knew how they were going to make money for a little bit.
I mean, it just, everything kind of had to start over in a sense of a whole bunch of people scrambling of saying, like, how do we keep this moving? You know what I mean? And then it's kind of like resetting the bar, resetting the regulations in a sense, you know, like in a way the industry got harder, but in a way the industry got easier, because it allowed actually some room for some people that were hungry, that kind of kept pounding it. Or, you know, there were some people that were too scared during those times, which kind of like left the window open a tiny bit for some more people, I like to say. You know, and then I think it also, whether good or bad, you know, a lot of people kind of reflected on, if that's what they wanted to do anymore, and just to elaborate on that is when you tour and you hit the road and you do that for so long, it's kind of like, it's such like, well, it's the ultimate high is what I'll kind of call it. Like there's nothing else that'll give you that feeling, which is amazing. And so it's almost like a numb feeling because you're just go to where, you're just constantly like just striving and working and touring and living that lifestyle to where you don't really have time to really reflect even like because it's just going so fast. You don't really think about it. I mean, it's because it's so much fun. I mean, it's a riot, you know what I mean? And so when you get that break and it automatically, makes you stop what you were doing. I mean, for example, for me, I was touring almost over 8 years at that point. You know what I mean? And then literally not being able to do the one thing that I love the most and that I built the most. I mean, literally just, boop, hi, welcome, life stops, you know what I mean? Right here. And it's like, okay, now what do we do? I'm trying to say, and then you either can follow the new industry rules and while as they're scrambling, trying to figure it out, or you go back to that kind of old, you know what I mean? Like hustler mentality. And you're like, hey, how can I kind of sideline some cool little things to get the fans to pay attention to me or what I'm doing? This is where I can maybe make a niche. This is where I can maybe try to do something outside of the realm of the standards that everybody says you have to make a video like this or a lyric video like this or something like that, where it's like, no, dude, let's start to be a little bit more experimental, you know what I mean? And, like, I think that's exactly what we did a little bit more, just basically still remaining that connection, but even growing that connection on just like what we do. And, again, that's just like creating a party. Like I said, it's a big thing for us is like, our band is just such a, we just pride ourselves in not just being like a ballad band or just things of that nature. You know what I mean? We really, like I said, want to create that party environment, man. That kind of just like it's heavy, but it's loving at the same time, man. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. And so by having that time where you're not out and performing, you get to kind of hibernate in a way and figure out like, what is it that we really want to be doing with this music? How can we, and you have time for those conversations. Like
exactly.
Yeah. Because when I imagine when you're touring, it's just like you said, constant
it's
to the
grind.
point where for me to even try to talk to you about this.
Yeah, because you're so focused on the tour or the shows, or there's just so much other things, you know what I mean, that come with that. You're right. You don't really like, it's not the time, but it's just like you want to have that space. So You're right. You don't constantly want to be up each other's ass, basically, when I say, talking about this, that, and the other things, So yeah, you nailed it, man. It was a big time of reflection for a lot of people.
So for touring for 8 years, just 8 years straight, I mean, why don't you get into that and just kind of like I imagine you like the touring lifestyle, right? I mean, it sounds as if you don't dislike it.
I mean, definitely. I mean, what I'd like to say is getting back to just reflecting on the things, during the time of COVID and that break, again, it's like I never had time to ever think whether or not I liked it or didn't like it. Because I loved it and I just kept on doing it, and that's who I was, and that was my identity. That was my purpose, I want to say, you know what I mean? And so then when that stuff happens, man, and you're forced to have to sit there and think about stuff like that, man, a lot of other things start to go around in that head, especially as a creative. You're sitting there not, again, being able to have the ability to be creative. And, going back and forth with, there's goods and bads, with everything that you do, and especially in touring, if you haven't toured, you don't know. And it looks all glorious and it looks all awesome and it looks like all rock and roll. But let me tell you what, man, years and years of grinding go into that, and what I mean by that is, sleeping in the van, sleeping in Walmart parking lots, playing Joe's Corner Bar in front of the 3 regulars, but those might be your best fans afterwards. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's literally going out and doing everything it takes. It's not glorious in any way whatsoever. Be happy if you get catering, which is a Little Caesars pizza. You know what I'm saying? Be happy, if the bartender's good looking, gives you a shot at the end of the show, if that's what you like, or a Red Bull, whatever it may be, right? So those things start to trigger your mind a little bit, you know what I mean? And so what I mean by that is I'm just at a point in my career to where if I'm going to continue to do it, I now know that there has to be a little bit more reasoning. And I had to kind of and because I kind of set that bar higher, I really have to work harder. if that makes any sense. I have to work harder because my expectations are greater. You know what I mean? So I'm going to make sure that things go a specific way while having fun at the same time. And that's the key thing right there, is still having fun, you know what I mean? But still running it as a business. Because, again, at this point in my career, it is a business. It is a career move for me. You know what I mean? It's what I've done, and it's what I love to do. So it's no more just going out on tour and having fun, is what I'm trying to say. It's no more just hopping in the van and trying to figure it out just to go out and meet the homies anymore. You know what I mean? Which, don't get me wrong, that's what got me to where I'm at. And I absolutely love every bit about it. And I'd go back and do it again 10 times over. But, moving forward, and again, it just comes along with building your brand and your business, as well as, we've got a great team now, through all that hard work. And again, all those, all that grinding, we now have agents and managers and people that are interested because they know how hard we work now, and they know what our plans are, and they know what we're trying to do, and they know our worth. And so the moves from here on out are just a little bit more played more carefully, and I think that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Again, I'm always going to touch back to just making sure you're having fun, man.
Yeah. So you think maybe that time you spent by yourself helped you reflect on what you could be doing better as a musician and as a business person for your music? You think it kind of made you take that more seriously? Like, oh, this is really what I want to do for my whole life. Like, I love this. Because I could definitely, if you got that taken away from you out of nowhere, of course it would make you reflect on that. But like, specifically, what is it that you saw that you were doing wrong in the past? Like, in what ways have you think you guys are going to change moving forward?
I guess as far as touching on like what we did wrong in the past, or just probably common mistakes that most artists or bands do just growing up. It's just a learning process. You know what I mean?
Just focusing too much on the fun aspect of it?
Well, basically saying, I think a lot of artists, because we're creatives, we also think we know it all. I think we know what's best for our brand. I think we know what we're doing with what we're supposed to be doing. And let me tell you this, I wish I would have invested into a team and people that actually, and would have listened a little bit more. But at the same time, I don't know how much further I would be if I would have done that. I'm very happy with where I'm at in my career-wise. Again, I call it a career for a reason, because I probably make income doing what I love to do the most. And so it's like that was a very, very. That was a big part of the reflection, because again, it was like, I could go to play music and just have fun, and I could just do some like local shows or do stuff like that. And I'll always do that forever. So let's just say that, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if I'm actually, putting my hard work, effort, mind, all my time, all my eggs in this basket, you know what I mean? Obviously there has to be more to it to provide just for my life. And because I'm one who always just strives to always get better. I just always want to elevate in life. I always set new goals. It's kind of funny. My mother always says, I'm going to kill myself because I can never enjoy the moment. Every time I hit a goal, I'm always setting another one. And that's just the way it is, you know what I mean? But, you embrace that, man, and you go after it. And again, like, in the end of all this, dude, I just really like the place that we're in, because, yeah, man, like the moves that we're making now are a lot more organized and structured. And again, we built a great team around us. So I'm really excited for the future, man.
Yeah. I don't think, I'm constantly going through this, and I'm just recently, it's funny, brought this up in the last podcast I filmed. Steven Pressfield wrote a book called The War of Art. Are you familiar with it?
The Art of War or The War of Art?
The War of Art.
Ooh, so no, I'm not. That's pretty good.
The Art of War is Sun Tzu.
Well, that's right. Well, I was just kind of trying to look, all right. So I like this. I like this play.
Yeah, The War of Art. And the whole thing, it's a great title, isn't it?
Nice,
yeah.
I do. I love it.
I kept thinking of it the wrong way around. I kept thinking he wrote The Art of War in my brain. I'm like, wait a minute, no.
Well, that's why I asked. I was kind of like, that's pretty cool, dude. I was like, I knew you knew what you were talking about, but I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know about this here. So I'm like, hell yeah, let's go,
Hold on, wait, that's a different book.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the War of Art, the whole thing is like about battling resistance and going against that and being able to create, because everybody faces this resistance, and that resistance will murder you. That resistance, and whatever it is, it usually is just a little thing in your head that stops you from, like the thing that stopped you from getting a team,
Absolutely,
the thing
man.
that stops you from following through on certain things that could have made things better.
Yeah.
And it was just a matter of, it's just very, very difficult to see beyond your own bullshit.
Oh, that's
And
facts. I mean,
yeah.
100%, man. I think a lot of people can relate with that, right? And I think that's, again, like, as much as I hate Kufid, is what I call it, it's just like, man, I always try to look at the best or the positives and things. That's just how I roll. And it's just like, yeah, take the, I got to look at what did that time do? And it did give me that time to reflect. Was it hell for me personally? Hell yeah, it was, dude. I mean, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I don't like being in my own head for that long. I mean, give me a little time. Sure. I'm all right with that. But, 2 years or so, you know what I mean? A lot of things could start changing personally, financially. Again, that's why all these different moves come into play. But take a second and look at yourself in the mirror, reflect on yourself, ask yourself those questions, who am I? What is my purpose? You know what I mean? What am I really trying to do? And I think everybody kind of had the opportunity, and hopefully they took it to actually do that during that time. And, for the most part, I did see a lot of cool things and a lot of people make some turns for the better, during that time. More than people I saw turn for the worse, you know what I mean? So again, just trying to take the positive out of everything, man, take that time to reflect on yourself, you know what I'm saying? And look more towards the good than the bad, because I think a big problem with how we're being fed today, and just how society is I think everyone focuses on the bad so much more. I call it, I can do 9 good things for you, but I can do 1 bad thing, and you'll always remember me more for the 1 bad thing I did, and you'll never think about the 9 good things I did. If you really start to think about that, I think that's true in a lot of scenarios or relationships, whether it's family, friends, or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it may be, and so stop focusing on the bad so much, because if you manifest bad, that's what comes. So again, man, I'm just all about throwing those positive vibes out there, dude, you know what I mean? And I really want to bring that back. That's again why I kind of use the party word as well too, because it's like I want to bring that enlightenment back, and especially to the metal world, because metal can be gloomy and dark, in a sense. So it's just like, it's super, super duper fun metal party music, man. And again, like, it's like I want to bring that happiness back, So
yeah, I think people need it. I agree. I think that we can only lead by example. It's one of those things where it's like you can look for the negative in things, but ultimately it's not constructive to search for the negative if you're not going to try to find a positive within that negative. Like if you
Facts.
if you have a way of flipping it, then do that. But like otherwise, what's the point in even dwelling on it?
Yeah.
Like when it comes to, for an example, a lot of people get caught up on their relationships with their parents. A lot of people. And it's like what you just said. You could do 9 good things and 1 bad thing. A lot of people get caught up on that 1 bad thing their parents did, and they blame it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not even realizing, like, your parents did a lot of good shit too. Like it took a lot for you to be who you are.
100%.
And it took all that good shit they did.
100%, dude.
But it's, again, perspective. It's like taking that negative way of looking at it and then flipping it and seeing the positive. I think people need to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
Because anything can be negative if you want it to be, for real.
Yeah, exactly. And I just like, I hate to say it, but I just see so many people thinking that way. And it crushes me, man. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I understand what anger is, I understand what pain is, dude. I understand what, going through hell is, man. But, like at the end of the day, like, everyone, like it's life, you know what I'm saying? It's just literally life, and it's like you can either choose to have gloomy, dark days because that's the way you wake up in the morning and start thinking and holding people, you like blaming your own problems on other people, or you just gotta look at yourself and go, dude, let's just buck up, let's buck up and let's get ready and go, take on the day, you know what I'm saying? And again, like, what I try to do is like, not everybody wakes up happy every day, and neither do I. But what I mean by that is, see, for me, like, what in those situations, like I will take myself and I'll go out in the world, or I'll go out purposely, or go drive, or go to, just because like what happens is I want to just see other people happy, or I like making other people happy. So what I do is that'll turn it around for me, like really, really quick, to where again, like some people, they avoid, like I don't have a lot of friends that like during COVID now are just like, they were like used to be extroverts and they're like introverted now, or like they're like hermits, I kind of call it, you know what I mean? And that's by their own choice, and that's fine. But it's like they're like, it's really weird how like it changed to where they're like scared of people. They're scared to like talk to people, say hi, hold a door open for somebody. I mean, again, like to each their own. It's just I just don't remember the world being like that. I don't ever remember someone saying like that's okay or that's where we're headed or you know, and it's just
I think for one thing I observed in my own nature is I've noticed like I'm worse at eye contact than I used to be. And I think a lot of that is
that's
I
a
was
big thing.
inside for too long.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, and that's what I'm saying. It's natural things that happen that we're not aware of. So again, it's not like saying like maybe it's even by choice. I guess I agree with that. It's almost just like a natural thing that happens when you're put in that environment for so long, right? You know?
And I think it goes back to like that lead by example thing. I think all we can do is just go out here and like reintegrate back into the world. And
that's what we have to do.
It's what we have to do.
We have to do that, bro. Like 110%. That's what I'm out here doing, bro. I see you out here doing it too. And, you know, and that's why it's just so cool when we collab on this stuff too. Cause, you know, like I know the vision's there, bro. And, you know, so like, you know, it's all about the people, baby.
Yeah, I think you and I are similar in that sense where it's like ultimately we're all about positivity and sending out positivity and we want to see other people do well.
100%.
Like, there's nothing competitive about the nature of the energy we're putting out. We're not trying to be better than anybody. We want to see everybody win.
I truly believe in team. I don't know. It's just that was just how I was raised, though. I just truly believe that you can do better in numbers. I always believe you can do greater things with more minds at the table. I understand there can be too many cooks in the kitchen, but what I mean is just like I just. Everyone thinks they can do it by themselves now, bro. Like everyone is just so independent. I don't need nobody, you know. And I might sound like I'm like talking like a woman there, but that's actually most of my bros that I'm hearing out there now, just sitting there going, dude, like I could do it on my own. I'm like, no, dude. I'm just like, okay, and hey, dude, so be it, man. I guess. But what's happening is I'm seeing so many people. Honestly, like pushing this independent agenda to where it's segregating people, you know, and I'm not mean to try to touch on that tip too much, but I just want to get back to the whole point that I just truly believe in building a team and building a family, building a brotherhood, right? You know what I'm saying? And I just really feel like when you have a group of people that truly believe in the same thing and that love each other, dude, you can accomplish fucking anything, bro.
I feel that way too. Everybody could use a team to join. Everybody could use some kind of group to get behind, something to invest in, something to make themselves bigger than what they are, in hopes that eventually it'll pay off in the future. Hopefully that'll feed into whatever you are. I think that one super direct way to do this is literally investing in stocks. And let me tell you who makes that easy. Robinhood. Robinhood is out here making it easy for anybody to invest. I'm talking anybody. As long as you got a cell phone and a bank account, bing, bam, boom, you're ready to go. You can invest in whatever stocks you feel are necessary in your life, any team that you want to join. If we're talking about team building, if we're talking about building yourself up, let me tell you, nothing builds you up more than investing a little bit and watching that little bit turn into a lot of it. It's nice. It's a great feeling, and Robinhood makes it nice and easy for anybody to feel that feeling. So if this sounds nice, if you want to feel these feelings that I'm feeling about, well, all you got to do is hop inside the link inside of our description where you can get one free stock if you've never used Robinhood before. Yeah, that's right. All free users get a free stock on His House just because they are fans of what we do here in the Coop Troop. I'm talking about my in the Coop Troop. I'm talking about my chickens and my roosters. We are happy to have you guys here. And Robinhood, we are happy to have you. Love y'all. Happy to be on your team. Let's talk a little bit more about teamwork. Let's talk a little bit more about collaboration. Let's talk a little bit more about constellations.
Yeah. I have a tape called Constellations, and the whole idea there is the stars come together to form a bigger picture. And
love it.
Yeah, and the tape was full of features, and I was just kind of playing into that. But that was one of my first real forays into collaboration in my art beyond when I was doing the 60 Seconds interviews.
Gotcha.
And then this came along. But like for me, I wouldn't be who I am if it weren't for the people I've interacted with and the people that I've been able to help through my content and the people I've put on. Like, I've made so many connections through doing that. I would never undo any of it. I mean, the fact that I'm sitting here with you right now is a result of it.
Yeah, 100%, bro.
Yeah,
absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, your grind shined, bro. Like,
but you gotta put yourself out there. You gotta be willing to work with people. Like you're saying, you can't. I really appreciate you putting that into perspective for me, because I'm one of those guys that gets real lost in his own vision.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
And I think that I could really benefit from taking a step. Like one thing I've been saying for a long time is music videos. Like I've always shot my own music videos. I don't have to do that. And matter of fact, they could be better if I didn't. Like if I went to somebody who specializes in that and I just section that off, I let him do it and stop trying to be so independent on
Controlled, I call it.
Yes, then it'll be fine. And in my brain, I'm building up this, oh no, but I gotta have creative control.
Yep.
No, I don't.
Yep.
I really don't.
I've lived that life, bro, so I know 100% what you feel, man, because I did that for so long, and that's exactly what, going back to what we were talking about earlier, man, of things I could have maybe done different, is I realized the second that I allowed another creative who I hired to have a vision of what I told them what it was about, normally, because they're great at their craft, better at their craft than I am, they actually took my vision and made it way better than mine own of when I was trying to control it. You know what I mean? Everything from a light. Dude, you know, from a light to the way a color needed to be or something. Like, it's just like, dude, whoa, like pump the brakes, man. Why don't I focus on the song? Yeah. Why don't I focus on the video? Why don't I focus on my performance? Why don't I focus on what I'm here to do and be the artist? And then let the videographer and the team direct what we're supposed to do. And, just a little, word of the wise, be careful, obviously, who you hire. But, we're smart people when you research who you have do your work. And I'll just tell you 9 out of 10 times, man, dude, it just came out so much better than when I used to try to control it. And it's a lot more fun.
Because, well, you know what it is?
It's a lot more fun.
There's a magic in the middle. This is how I like to describe it, is if I'm sitting here and I'm coming up with stuff in my own bubble, and then you're sitting there and you come up with stuff in your own bubble. As soon as those bubbles interact, there's something brand new that was never there.
100%.
And
exactly.
that's what happens when you work with people.
Yeah.
I mean, with your music, you're going to get something, like you said, it's awesome. You would have never, ever, ever seen it that way. You would have never been able to imagine it like that, but they did. And that collaboration creates something brand new.
Yeah. And it's being open-minded to it, and again, that's really hard as a creative, but I think that's also on the other end, like that's what being creative is all about, right? Is being open to this creativity, man. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you can always say no or I don't like it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, right? Like, at the end of the day, I don't think anybody's going to want you to put out work that you don't like or put their name on something they don't like either. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, man, yeah, like I love working with people that believe in the same vision or ideas that I do. People that are just all about music or in the industry that are willing to help people thrive. And man, like I said, it's just so much more fun when you get those people involved too. It becomes a greater thing, man. Again, you're building, in a sense, aren't you building a fan base? I mean, in a sense, aren't you bringing in more people to tell more people about what you're doing? I mean, to me, it's just, I don't understand any concept of doing anything by yourself, because to me, without your customers, your clients, or your fans, which are people doing things for you, I don't understand where this whole I'm doing it by myself things come from, because you ain't shit by yourself, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So get out there, show some love, get out there and work with some people, go get some money, man. Go make some memories. Go have some good times, man.
Well, the way you described it earlier, too, about how the reason you came to the new sound you guys have is through playing and seeing what works and touring and understanding and being truly creative and allowing your experience to guide the sound. I mean, if you're trying too hard to just stick to whatever it is you're doing, you would have never, ever, ever been able to have that type of dynamic, what's the word I'm looking for? Dynamic maturation, the evolution of your music. It wouldn't have came the same way if you weren't open to that creativity and the way that people are going to interact with it. Because, I mean, I could drop 10 songs and none of them would do anything. They wouldn't mean anything to anybody. But maybe I rap one of those songs in front of somebody and I see, oh, they responded really well to that. Maybe I should dig into that. And it's like learning to let the process be collaborative, even when it's your own thing. Like, what other people say matters. And I also think what happens is, with this whole independent mentality, the universe you get back is the one that you're creating. So if you're creating this independent world, then nobody's going to get involved in what you're doing.
Yeah, you're walking around with this big shell around you. You know what I mean? And it's like that's the thing about eye contact or even things like that. You know what I mean? It's like literally, it's like you don't even know how people are going to react anymore. You know what I mean? It's kind of still in a questionable state. You know what I mean? I held a door open for a girl the other day, and she said, "I don't need you to hold the door open for me."
Really? Where was this? Around here?
Yeah, but the point is like I've just never I was born and raised to do that, and I was doing that as a polite gesture, not because I was trying to pull a male card on a female. I had zero that. I don't even understand where that thought process comes into play. My brain doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? My heart doesn't work that way. My soul doesn't work that way. So that was really shocking to me when that happened. And then that starts for me to think like what if I took a girl out on a date and I wanted to go hold the car door open for her? Like, would she be offended now?
Yeah.
Ooh, like that's pretty weird, man.
That is weird.
Super weird. So I don't really try to waste time thinking about that too much. I'm going to be who I am and spread the love is what I'm saying. And I just, for people that are like that, man, stop being like that.
Stop it.
Just
I was about to say,
man.
that's a her thing.
Dude,
I was going to say that.
Just stop it.
Because, the thing is, it goes back to the whole thing. If you're seeking out negativity, you'll find it.
Yeah.
If that's what she's looking for, she found it.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of our music has to do with girls and relationships. So it's why I always like to kind of bring that into conversation a little bit, because that's like a lot of what we talk about in our music and stuff like that, just as far as from partying to having a good time to obviously, like being in and out of relationships, good nor bad. You know what I mean? So things like that. And it's trying to, I think, understand relationships, whether it's your partner or, like I said, your parents or your friends. You know what I mean? It's just about building that and basically building a good time. And my favorite thing is, like I said, is bringing people together. It's my favorite thing in the world, and that's why I do what I do, is because when I get to play in front of some of those festivals, in front of thousands of people, dude, like that is literally, again, like I said, the ultimate best feeling I've ever had in my life. There is no substance. There is nothing, not even sex. I don't care. And I like sex a lot. But I'm telling you, there is no feeling better than going out there and performing, in front of a huge crowd of people, that love your music and sing it back at you, man. So I suggest everybody, again, no matter what you do, just get back out there to do whatever you can do to just get around the people that love you, man. You know what I mean? Because that's where you can build the most memories and the best time out of your life, I feel, because everybody that loves each other always is willing to work together and support each other in no matter what ways it is. I don't care what it is you do, whatever your business, your service, whatever you're trying to sell, you get around people and build a group, people are going to buy that t-shirt just because you're their buddy. They don't have to like it. It's about supporting the people you love, man. So build something, man, and get out there. Let's go.
Yeah. It's just, I'm glad I'm hearing all this, because I remember a couple of years ago, I had this like jaded idea in my brain where it's like I said, I've always been very independent minded, and then I'll see different rap artists in the city who they're kind of running in some type of collective, or they'll have a group of people, like a team, essentially.
I've seen it.
Yeah. There's a few of these
everywhere. Yeah,
there's a few of these different. Yeah, everywhere. It's not just
there
Flint.
and all. Yeah. But I've seen like it's almost everywhere in Flint now, though. I'm like you said, you're right, because we're both from the same area. I was just tapping in on that. Is like some of the people where we used to see be independent artists or rappers, or they're just like completely was like a solo. Is like they have these like groups and collectives around there, and I think obviously some of the weed shops and stuff like that kind of help some of that stuff too, which is like really cool, because they use those areas as like their clubhouses and shit like that. And we just talking about a little Flint town love over here, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I shout out Sapo Sesh.
Yeah.
I know that's a big Sapo Sesh is a monthly get together, if I'm correct. I'm trying to remember the name of the actual smoke shop, but it's just like a monthly get together where it's that type of thing. He'll put on a bunch of rappers, and it's just a nice chill out spot. You're right, that does create a community around
It's
it
awesome,
for sure.
man. It's really really cool.
Yeah, and Sapo, I'll have you on the pod too, man. I love what you're doing. He really is bringing people together in a way that I think you and I could both appreciate. I think there just needs to be more community in music. I think Flint is missing out on a lot of community with their music too. You kind of just have to. I don't know. I'm not too deep into the metalcore world of it. Like, is there a nice rock scene in Flint? I often hear that performing in Flint, you get a very good energy.
All I have to really say is this, it's definitely nowhere near what it used to be.
Okay.
And that's with all due respect to the bands that are still out here grinding. You know what I mean? And I'll shoot out some names that, like Avalon Black, like those guys are killing it. I really don't know very many other bands. Vicariant, I'll throw them out there. They're still, you know what I mean? They're still very and they would admit that they're not as active as they would like to be. The scene back in the day, and I hate to say back in the day, but just a few years ago before COVID even, I mean, there were bands left and right from this area. I mean, there was local showcases all the time, whether it's the Flint Local 432 or the Machine Shop. And then there even it was the Corona Road Bar and some of the bars around town that even also had bands, and I'm talking a plethora of bands, you know what I mean? And so, unfortunately, unless you're a cover band, you know what I mean? Which, or a fun animated, I'm really, I'm a big fan of like Iron Snake, like kind of play, bands that like play on other like 80s acts and stuff like that. Like, that's pretty cool or whatever. But at the end of the day, I just really, really, really feel that the music community around here is diminished, and I hope it picks back up. You know what I mean? And what I want to say to touch on that, to be positive, is just the people that are still here and still doing it, man. Hell yeah, like let's go, man, because you're
the ones who bring it back.
You're killing it, man. You know what I'm saying? So again, like I appreciate everybody and respect everybody out there grinding. I go and show love to all the people that are still doing it out here. You know what I mean? And I'm the only one left from around here in my band, to where, like I said, when I started it Lies Up Thin, we were all from this area, you know what I mean? So that also changes the dynamic of things as well. But, I like being able to have the ability to bring the new sound, new band, and, I mean, I've even kind of, in a sense, trying to brand myself, you know what I mean? I mean, that's also a thing, you know what I mean? I think everybody should do that as well. And it feels pretty cool to still be, you know what I mean, just recognized, for the past hard work, but also known to be like, damn, dude, you're still out here doing the thing, you know what I mean? And I always just say it to everybody, man, the grind don't stop, it's to the moon, you know what I mean? So. Well,
speaking of your personal brand, fitness is a big part of that, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's recently, or I should say, within the past 5 years. Yeah, that's kind of something that we just kind of started out of nowhere.
And I imagine you were very passionate about it, and that's why it happened.
Yeah, I mean, anybody that knows me or is getting to know me, I mean, I'm definitely that person that if I set my mind to something and I choose to do something, I do well at it. I also don't go and play pool because I'm not good at pool. So I'm also that guy, you know what I mean? I'll be honest with you. Any things I choose to do, I normally I have to be 100% into it, and I will get good at it, is what I mean to say. And so that's just my mindset. It's how I was raised. That's just who I am. So yeah, man, I hate to keep bringing up COVID, but that's what it was, man. My, music stopped, the ability to tour and make that income stopped. And I really had to reflect on myself and go, what the hell am I going to do? Not that it was dire straits, but I mean, like I said, I'm a hustler, man. I grind. I like nice things, you know what I mean? So it's I got to get out there and figure out something else. And I remember towards the end of touring, I started actually having the mindset of, man, this lifestyle's starting to take a toll on me a tiny bit. And it wasn't just that checked me. I've always just had the passion when I was in a college and stuff like that, high school. I worked out a little bit here and there. Nothing I was never an athlete or anything like that, but I just took care of myself. And I wanted to get back to that because my guitarist, Kyle, at the time, he did. He definitely was doing it a lot more during the tour. And I was watching him and I'm like, damn it, dude, I really want to start doing this. And so, long story short, when COVID hit, I basically went and got my personal trainer certification because I'm just one who also, I'll never talk or touch on a subject or talk about things unless I feel like I have the proper right or the background, okay, or you know what I mean, to be able to do so. So that's number one for me. And so I basically went and did that, and I still didn't know shit. You know what I mean? I'll be honest. I'm just getting in there, and then lo and behold, I just kind of had some friends and then fans that came out of the woodwork that just started helping me as I was just posting on my Instagram that I was working out, like you see everybody doing. Again, this was 5 years, so it's kind of crazy. I kind of hit the wave when it was starting. If you've seen where the fitness industry is gone in the last 5 years, everybody and their bros doing it now, which is cool as hell. Be healthy. I'm all about that shit. And that's kind of why I did it, And so, long story short, I was posting some stuff, man, and then I didn't realize that there were fans of my band that are IFBB pro bodybuilders. And the next thing you know, they're hitting me up and they're like, bro, you're looking pretty good. If you need any advice, let me help you. And I mean, of course, next thing you know, I'm just having conversations with these high-end athletes that I never knew that were fans of my band. So it's cool that my band and my music career led me to this. And then I took their advice, man. And then I just took it to the house, man. I took it to the moon. I changed my diet. I stopped everything. I worked out 6 days a week for 3 years. And then next thing you know, Well, for 2.5, especially in COVID, because I wasn't performing or touring, next thing you know, these guys, I mean, I said, man, when I do something, I do it all the way. So these guys pushed and pushed and pushed, and they're the ones who motivated me to actually compete. And then I'm no stranger to a stage. So I said, you know what? Hey, let's go try to take on another stage, man. Let's just see what this is all about. And I'll tell you what, man, that's a lot scarier stage going out there with just some shorts, and then going and trying to have judges like literally pick your body apart, bro. You know what I mean? And
now you know how a woman feels,
dude. 100%. Dude, honestly, seriously, you learn a different respect for it. You really, really do. And it was just really cool. I just want to relate it to how it's just so cool how the music, again, leaded me to these other opportunities, whatever it may be. But what comes with the rock and roll lifestyle can be unhealthy. And I just love that I chose this path to actually get healthier. And I literally feel better than I've ever felt in my life. I mean, ever since I started doing it, I've been doing it for about 5 years now. And I literally feel better now than I felt 5-7 years ago, like without a doubt, 100%. Like mindset, mind frame, creativity, health wise, strength. It is just your life changes, man, when you start to take care of yourself, man. So yeah, man. Long story short, went out there and I actually after 3 years of competing there on that stage, I actually won 2 shows last year. So I'm nationally qualified to go and try to go get that pro card, man. But, then the band started back up again. And then, that's when, again, you come to those decisions of what do you want to do in life, and can you do both? Sure, you can. But, to prep for a show, just for those people that don't know out there, I mean, it takes about 3.5 to 4 months. And what I mean by that is eating perfectly, working out perfectly, sleeping perfectly, not partying, you know what I mean? Not going out there and getting crazy, you know what I mean? And so in order to win those shows, you have
everything you do matters.
Every little thing you do literally matters. And I'll tell you this, I never learned so much about myself and how much discipline and how much respect I earned for myself during that process. I don't mean to say it, but I'm a badass motherfucker, dude.
It goes back to what I was saying about resistance. Like you fought that resistance, and you found out a lot about yourself through doing it.
And I was totally the complete opposite end of the spectrum, rocking out, partying. I mean, totally hardcore. I mean, the other end of the spectrum. It wasn't just like, it was night and day. You know what I'm saying? And so, don't get me wrong, I still know how to have a good time. That's not what this is about, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I go out there and we're going to rage. You see me out there on the road, we're going to have some fun, okay? You know what I mean? But at the same time, I call it, party positively. You know what I mean? And there is still a healthy way of partying. And that's really the biggest thing that I've started to do. And to tie this back into everything, you guys, is what I'm actually starting to do and offer is, I'm trying to come up with plans, and I'm actually working with like touring musicians to actually help them stay healthier while on the road, because that's a hard thing to do. And because I've experienced both, I'm now putting together like plans and things to do that you can try to do to make it easier for musicians while you travel on the road, man. I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool that you're taking the information from the other profession, the other interest, and you're feeding it back into the music.
Absolutely, man. That's just absolutely. So, it's got to be that way for me. It's got to be that way for me, because it's honestly opened the window a lot too, because, being in the metal scene or in the music, well, morely the metal scene, but some of the music scene, it's, well, I mean, obviously I don't look like the same Zach as 5 years ago, and so my fans even see me, or even people see me, or, they're just they're intrigued to ask me questions about it. You know what I mean? And so I love giving it back. You know what I mean? I love sharing knowledge with people again. You know what I mean? And so, it's all about just like, I want just everybody to be their best versions of themselves.
Well, how does one party healthily? How does one keep that, how does one stay self-conscious enough? I guess just lay it on me. Just tell me what you would be telling these artists, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I guess, in a sense, it kind of sounds funny when you say like party healthily, right? Because I guess there really is no healthy thing in partying. But what I mean to say is like, there's so many things you can do that people aren't aware of to basically like, kind of like deflect or basically like help make up for the things that you're losing in your body while partying. So, for example,
to mitigate the downsides of
that's
partying.
exactly. So, for example, like supplementation. Like, so for example, for me, you know what I mean? Like, and for anybody that goes out there and parties and stuff like that, like I take a liver supplement, you know what I mean? It protects my liver, you know what I mean? I take it every single day, and I take it just for health purposes. This isn't just because I party, but that's definitely something that nobody knows. I mean, anybody that drinks alcohol heavily or goes out there and drinks alcohol, period, you should take a liver support. It helps your liver. What's the first thing that goes when you drink alcohol? Your liver, so that's something that's super important. I also take kidney supplements. Okay, kidneys are your next thing to go, you know what I mean? So if you just take these things every day, of course you have a multivitamin, helps every single day, then it comes down to hydration. People don't understand as adults even how much Pedialyte will save your life in the morning, dude. And so these are simple things, and there's much, much more. I could go for days, but there are definitely things that you need to take with you and take while I tour. I definitely make sure that I have all that stuff. I luckily use those things every day in my daily life now. But if you had to start to actually, when for example, musicians that are going out there, they know they're going to party hard on that week or 2 week run, have those things. Because I tell you what, you will wake up feeling a lot better the next morning. You will still be functioning a little bit better. You'll have an appetite, so you'll still eat on a normal schedule. You won't be feeling like crap, you know what I mean? You can try to be the best version of yourselves on the road. If you can hit the gym or take a walk or do some kind of just, activity, every once in a while to get that blood flow going besides just sitting in the bus too the whole time, man. I mean, that's what it's all about. So I have some people that are practicing it, man. I'll tell you what, dude, they're pumped on it. Like the testimonials are there. And again, I just want to share the knowledge, man. That's all it is. Like, I'm not looking to gain anything, honestly, from that end of it. I just want to give back to the music community because of what they've done to me, for me, I should say.
Yeah. That's great, man. That's great that you're doing that.
It's different. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's a whole different ball game. But just if you have something to be able to pass on and provide, I'm telling you, the proof is in the pudding. You know what I mean? So, and again, the reason why I say a lot of this is because I've seen a lot of my friends that do tour, and I've seen a lot of people hurt themselves. I mean, I have a lot of friends. I've lost a lot of friends. I've seen a lot of them go downhill. And I literally think, if they would have just done these simple things, every day after they partied or took these, I literally don't think they'd be in the same place that they were in, you know what I mean? And so that's really a thing to me too that kind of hits home because, we're all, as you grow and you grow up, you start hitting those ages a little bit to where, your friends and family and people, life starts to hit a little bit like that. So, take care of yourself, man.
Yeah, I think the problem with the way a lot of people look at health and exercise is they're not thinking about it in the short term. They're thinking too long term. Like, oh, what are you trying to do? Add 10 years on your life? Like, when I die, I'm going to die. And they're just okay with living an unhealthy lifestyle because they have this sort of this mentality of, well, it's all going to end one day. I don't want to waste all my time doing things I don't want to do. But the reality is, as you said, you feel, in your mind, your heart, your soul, undeniably, you feel better than you did before you adapted this lifestyle.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, when people see it from me too, you know what I mean? It's mostly, that part I say be selfish about, feel good for yourself, you know what I mean? 100%. But it also feels good when people acknowledge, they recognize it, you know what I mean? And it's just like,
especially with the mentality thing, like when people see that because it's not just physical, it's a mental change that occurs when you start taking care of yourself too. And that's very gratifying when people they're like, wow, you seem a lot more animated than you were a year ago. You seem like you're doing a lot better.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, no, I mean, it's I've always been, you know what I mean, like out there and been social or done my thing, you know what I mean? But I guess it's just more like understanding your purpose, I think, a little bit, or being more confident and just like knowing who you are. Like I said, taking that time off, like, again, I had to take that time to go, like, who am I? You know what I mean? What is my purpose and what is it that I want to do in this life moving forward, And so, I guess I just feel a little bit more sturdy on my feet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it feels good, man.
I started working out a lot more in this past, 6 months, but even before that, I think the fact that everybody got stuck inside, the fact that everybody got more concerned with their current health because back to COVID, people were worried about, oh, well, if I'm in bad health, I'm at more of a risk. So maybe I should focus more on my health. And I think that's kind of why you see a lot of these the health industry booming ever since then.
Big time.
Because people are the consciousness has shifted in that direction. People are a little more focused on that. But for me, it's just like, think short term. Think right now. Do you want to feel better right now? Do you want to wake up tomorrow and feel better than you would have if you didn't do those things? Because I know for a fact, for me, sleep is a huge thing. Sleep has become something I'm so conscious of that I didn't used to be. I used to think, like, who cares? I'll sleep when I'm dead. Doesn't matter. And then Andrew Huberman, if you're familiar with him.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Love that guy.
God, amazing.
Yeah, big source of information for me, big inspiration. I love what he's putting out there because he's educating people, and and once you know how something works, it's much easier for you to use those tools. And basically what he's said, what he revealed to me is that sleep is one of the fundamentally most important things.
It
Probably
really is.
The most important thing.
It really is.
And it affects your workout too. Like if you get great sleep before a workout, you have so much better of a workout than if you get bad sleep.
That's what I learned the most of it. That's what I learned the most about it. Because again, like getting back to the touring and stuff, like, dude, you hardly sleep. You're driving or you're playing, and you maybe get a couple hours of sleep. And when you do sleep, like it's not comfortable sleep. You know what I mean? Again, like you said, I mean, I'll sleep when I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah, but it wasn't until you actually physically do it and then feel what it does to you. It's like, holy shit, dude, and
you feel like you wasted life.
And it doesn't mean like sleep 10 hours, bro. That's not what we're saying either. You know what I mean? We're saying, get that 7, that 8, you know what I mean? And just try to lay that head down an hour earlier before 4 a.m. at night. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, bro. Like, I struggle with sleep, and my mind races all night long, dude. And it used to a lot more than it does now. Because of why? Because I'm exhausting my body throughout the day from the gym. That actually helps me get to sleep a lot easier at night, and because it's a harder sleep, they call it REM2 sleep, you know what I mean? I actually get into that deep sleep, and it feels a lot better when I wake up in the morning, and that's what it kind of goes back into, is that, at least for me, and I just want to share with everybody, I never realized, because my goal was, when I first started doing this, was like, yeah, I just want, it was more physical. And I think a lot of people hold on to that. Like, I just want to see my body change physically. Dude, I cannot tell you guys how much more mentally it has changed my life and helped me way more than physically. Way more than physically. I now go to the gym because it's a mental thing for me now. That's my space, bro. I got to go out there to get that out during the day, man. That's my jungle. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I got to go. And dude, the mental effects that it's had on me, leave it in there, man. Leave it all out in there. Go in there, leave it all in there, come out, be done with it. You know what I mean? And anybody, I don't care what it is that you do, try to find something like that, because it's honestly a lot more a mental game. You feel better about yourself, things are going to get a lot easier for you, bud.
Yeah, I think of it like when you're working out, I just like to think of it in simple terms, like you're working through resistance. And through working through that resistance, you get better at working through any resistance. Like, yeah, it might be a physical resistance right now, but you're training yourself to get better at dealing with whatever that might be. And not only that, like the clarity that you can achieve through a workout is mind-blowing. To me, that's what, through a workout and through good sleep. Those two things, I mean, ever since I realized what that clarity is, it's hard for me to do things that are to that detriment. Like, I don't like smoking marijuana too often because it fucks up my sleep, and I can feel it now.
Yeah,
I
you're a lot more in tune to your body.
Yeah, and I don't like missing days at the gym because I can feel it now.
Yeah, because if you go out that one night, that might not let you go to the gym the next day because you're kind of a little whatever hungover or just sleep deprived. You know what I mean? And so you'll make that excuse to not go. And it's like, it is what it is. Again, just just trying to touch base and relate everything back to everything is dude, put on your favorite music, put your headphones in, and just go try to do it. I guarantee you'll love it. Music helps everything too, right? So I put my pods on, bro. I put my playlist on. I can go do anything when I do that. I don't care if I'm mowing a lawn, right? Everyone put you're in your music. That's why we're here talking. I mean, it's all about the music. So you get in your vibe, bro. Have your little private little party or rock concert in your damn head, and go and don't pay attention to anybody. Don't let anybody, bother you. You go in there and you do what you got to do, man. And at the end of the day, again, like I'm saying, the mental effects that it will have on you, bro, is just amazing. So go out there and get after it. And I just encourage everybody to do it and just start, man. Just start, start somewhere. You know, literally just one thing. I don't care. I tell people, dude, go out and just walk your dog more. You know, you love your dog, right? How many people, you know, like really don't get out and walk their dogs like they should? And that's just facts, y'all. I'm calling you out.
I'm one of the very few, because I walk my dog. I don't see nobody else doing it.
Bro. And see, that's the same thing. I do too. You know, just get up and walk your dog. That's a start. I guarantee you will feel better. And then once you start doing that, maybe walk an extra block with your dog. I bet you he'll like it too.
Yeah, because that's the thing. You don't even think about that. Your animal gets those same benefits from going on those walks.
They need it, bro. Yeah. And see, aren't we animals?
Yes.
Aren't we mammals? So you don't think we need that shit? Hell yeah, we do, you guys. That's why I don't care what it is you do. Do something. Do something active, you know. We are not made to sit on our asses.
No.
Okay? You know, like that's all I have to say on that. You know, we can leave it alone, you know.
There's a Hunter S. Thompson quote that's so great, and I'm going to paraphrase it. So it's not exact, but it's like a car on empty can drive 50 extra miles down the highway with the right music playing. And I think, of course, that's not a literal statement, but it's what you just said. You get that right tune on and you get in that right zone and you can push further than you thought you could. But it's just that people don't want it. The zone isn't attractive enough to them. They don't know what the zone can do. Like I think that a lot of people just don't get started with exercise. They don't get started with a healthy lifestyle, so they don't even realize what they're missing out on.
I mean, that's the truth, man. I mean, you nailed it there, and that's the biggest part of it, you know. And so I understand that it's hard to pick up something new, no matter what it is, right? And I think another thing is like a support system. You know, I think some things are really hard in life to start doing, and I think it does help if you can find someone to help you or want to do it along with you. So I guess what I want to say is, you know, if that's what it takes for you to do it, then at least put the effort in trying to ask somebody that you like to go do it with you. I bet you somebody who cares about you would do it just for you. Yeah. And then I bet you'd make their life better too. Think about that. Pretty darn cool, man.
Yeah. And it's the effects we can have on one another, man.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what it's all about. Yeah. You know, so it's just, you know, and that's what brings, again, just the whole sense of community, whether it be music, whether it be fitness, whether it be anything that you do. Understand that, put yourself in the right environment with the right people, and those people will also help drive you towards your goals, man.
Yeah. And it's about your intention too. Like, are you looking to get better? Because if you're not going to work with those people and figure it out. Like you have to want it for yourself too.
Yeah, that's the one thing that, like, you know, you have to do certain things for yourself, of course. You know what I mean? That's not selfish. That's not independent. That's well-being, my friend. That's well-being. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, for sure, you know, and you got to be confident in that choice and that decision, you know. But like at the end of the day, like it's just like I said, like if you really even take the effort to just explain those things that are important to you to other people around you, I think people would be shocked on the support that they have that they really don't think or know that they have. Because
they're not communicating it.
Yes, that's facts. That's facts right there, bro.
Yeah, I think a lot of people struggle to communicate what it is that what they're struggling with. I mean, it's hard to open up. It's hard to face your own bullshit.
Yeah.
I think all you can do is address it and then move forward. Like life is this beautiful thing, this beautiful chance we all get to evolve upon ourselves. And I like to think of every day as another opportunity to do that. Like every day I wake up, I'm like, okay, so how can I get better today?
That's exactly the perfect mindset, you know what I mean? And there's 10 different ways to say that same thing. So however it is that you have to say it to yourself, do it. Do the routine, you know? I wake up in the morning, I say, I am good, I am great, today's gonna be a great day.
And the affirmation thing, there's a lot to that, too.
100%.
Just being positive to yourself.
Yeah, you know, seek out, dude, you know, I really think people think it's weak to like seek out motivational speakers or like icons and stuff like that. And dude, I think that's silly too. Again, getting back to that, like, I know it all mentality. It's like, nah, dude, like, I mean, and it's going to be in your face anyways. I don't care if you're on Instagram or Facebook these days. I mean, that stuff is just shoved in your face these days. But I mean, pick something that you like and you resonate with, you know, like, you know, that whole statement that I just said there, you know, comes from Matthew McConaughey, you know, and he wrote this amazing book called Green Lights. And his whole idea of green lights is like, you know what I mean, creating green lights in life for yourself, you know, and it has a lot to do with affirmation, you know, and a lot of people don't understand even what affirmation is. And I'm so glad that there's like great new terms and terminology that are being brought to light on the good spectrum because of the horrible terms that have started to come to light, like gaslighting and, you know, all these stupid terms that people are creating just to be more negative in the world. It's like, dude, do you even know what a love language is? Like, take the time and go figure out what your love language is. Stop saying everybody hates you or coming up with a reason why you suck and blaming it on everybody else. Figure out who you are. So getting back to it, man, it's about putting the effort in the right places. You know what I mean? And dude, yeah, go find a motivational speaker, dude. Gary V, whoever it may be, man. I'm just telling you, dude, these guys are awesome. I don't care if you like or hate Andrew Tate, dude. You know, that guy's saying some cool ass shit either way. You know, but take what you want from it, man. To find who you like, resonate with somebody, and don't be afraid to take some advice from somebody you strive to be like or look up to, man. Go after it.
I mean, a principle I live by is you can learn something from everyone. I mean, it could even be your enemy. Your enemy is probably your best teacher.
There you go, art of war.
Yes, the art of war.
Back to the art of war, my friend.
Bringing it full circle.
Here's how we do this.
So, like, with the, I did have another question for you, but you know what? One thing I did want to ask that popped in my brain is just, what is it that drew you to music in the first place? Like, what is it that draws you to the live performance and just feeling that? Is it that interaction that really pulled you in?
I mean, I'll just be honest. Like, I was just very lucky to kind of tap into like what I was good at as a kid. So, I mean, it kind of just all stems from there. The background goes far back, but at the end of the day, like, I was just always into music, band, choir, theater, all that stuff. And so, like, it was just at a young, early age, I just realized what I love to do. So it all really stems from that. And then, you know, as you grow up or go throughout high school and college, you know, you kind of, again, do that kind of whole life reflecting thing of figuring out who you are and what you want to do. And you try all these different things, you know what I mean? And I was just so thankful that, you know, my best friends, even, you know, like I said, we're in college. So at this point, some people would be like, that's a late start. Well, I'd done music and bands my whole life, you know, so it was never a late start to me. It was just when everybody was like, yo, let's do this like for real. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, dude, you know, like, let's do it. And so, you know, we actually threw a little bit of money at it, and we actually saw, and we were friends with people who are doing some bigger, better things. And again, it's about, you know, collabing and not being afraid to ask and reach out to people. And next thing you know, we just to the moon, man, you know. And it was a slow rocky start. I'm not afraid to admit that. It was, oh God, it was really, really bad before it got good. But we just kept working and kept working and kept working and kept working. And finally, I was just so happy to be able to be fully proud of my band and my brand and my band. You know, definitely, you know, like, so proud of my guys. I'm so thankful for everything in life and everything that I've just been having the opportunity to do. I'm thankful for the people that have helped me do those things, man. So it's just like, you know, again, now it's doing it, realizing where the fun is, you know, the why, you know what I mean? And as much as, again, like I said, it's a business and it is serious, I've learned to do both at the same time now. And so if you can't hear it in my voice, man, I mean, I absolutely love what I do. Yeah. You know?
How do you manage that? How does one juggle business and fun?
Well, I learned the hard way, and that's by, again, going back to, you know, being too controlled, you know, or I'm sorry, too controlling. And so basically I've learned to build the team around me to loosen up the reins in the places I don't need to worry about, and then focus more in the places that I do. Yeah. And some of those places were just realizing and living in the moment and having fun and embracing what's going on, besides worrying about the next 2 shows ahead or getting that, like, just all this crazy manic stuff. Let the team kind of handle that stuff. And I actually get to, like, enjoy the time with my boys now, dude, like, in the moment.
And it becomes more wholesome for sure.
And we all are doing it. And so that's what's really cool.
So you've observed that even with your bandmates?
I mean, one reflects on the others, you know what I mean? You know, like, you know, they're my bros, man. You know, they're my homies, dude. That's my family. That's my band family, bro. Like, we ride to die, bro. You know what I mean? Like, we come around too. I'm not saying we're different than, like, most bands, but look, we are, man. We have a certain vibe. I mean, we all literally vibe off each other. We love each other. There's not one that's really much different than the other. We're all extroverts, and we're all just out there to get it and do the same thing, and we love each other, dude. And it's like, it's just so fun. We're the most hardcore, like, party pop like loving band ever. So I just really don't know what to say. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we just like radiate like bringing people together and come talk to us. Come up to the like. That's just all we're out there to do, man. Is just spread it. You know what I mean? And so much fun. So much fun. I wouldn't change it for the world. And it's pretty cool to get paid doing it.
And like you said, one reflects off the other.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys even going out there and putting out that energy, it reflects into the atmosphere around you and the audience too. I mean, people gravitate towards your music for that reason, that you guys have that energy and that aura around you, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but, you know, I'll throw a little industry secret out there is that the misconception is that, you know what I mean? Yeah, you have to have good music, but half the time for you to be a great, successful artist is not because you write good music. It's because you build a fan base. Your fans are how you make it. So you can sit there and think you write the best music as you think you do, you know what I mean, for yourself. And you can sit there and keep doing it the way you want to do it, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if you're not making that connection with other people or resonating with other people, I mean, you will not be successful doing it, you know? So I'm not saying do it for the people. No, I'm saying find the way to do it the way you love to do it, to connect with people also. And then that's how you'll become successful at any craft that you do.
Yeah, because it's a relationship at that point.
100%.
Yeah, and I mean, think about any artist that you've ever fallen into. Usually that's almost every time that's the case. It's like, whoa, okay, I could identify with this. Let me look into it a little more. And you just find a little bit of yourself in there. Like, okay, I can relate to this. And,
yeah.
Yeah, and it's that opening up and allowing yourself to, I was talking to, in my past podcast, we were talking about how with Rocco Tesla, he was saying how he wants to integrate some of his interests into his next tape and kind of push this whole like skateboarding, retro, VHS type of thing. And I was telling him, that's a great idea, man, because people will find that and they'll be into that aesthetic and they'll identify with that. And then they'll get into you. But it's like he's allowing it to be bigger than him. He's pulling in his interests and he's sharing these parts of himself. And I think a lot of people need to, they get a little conservative with their art. They're like, well, I shouldn't share this part of me though. And it's like, you don't know. Somebody might relate to that. That might be the reason that someone finds you, that you decided to say that way. Or
I mean, I think that's actually the like number one thing is what it is you have to have an identity. And what I mean by that is like, dude, the fans and people can see right through you, bro. Like they can see right through you. So I say your best bet is just to be your true self. Share your story because other people want to hear it. And then maybe you can relate to them as well and they can relate to you. And so be your true self. You know what I mean? Take off the mask. Being an artist is kind of cool because you get to put the mask on. I guess I get it. But also when I say show yourself, I'm saying explain why you are that character in your music. I call it being a superhero or you know, you're not being an actor. I hate that term. I'm not an actor as a musician. You know, it's like I'm putting on my like uniform before I go and play. And then, I'm like going out there and I'm just like crushing it for like 35 minutes, you know, and it's like a fight. It goes by in like 2 minutes. It's like, you know what I mean? And then you're done. You're like, that's a workout, man. You talk about a workout. That's a workout. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, man, it's like, I think it's identifying who you are really and then what your purpose is and why and who your character is maybe in the music as well and explaining that to people and they'll be like, oh, hell yeah, that's pretty fucking cool, man. You know?
Yeah. So, you humanize it when you do that.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because we are all humans.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's why I love listening to podcasts. That's why I'm diving into it, because I love the people behind the art. That's what attracts me. I love how deep these people can be, and just talking to artists or hearing anybody who's dedicated their life to something. It's so interesting to just hear their philosophies and the way that we all have such a different way of looking at the world. Like, and again, it's that magic in the middle. Like, we can't find that unless those people are sharing. So the fact that you go out into the world and you put out what you want to put out, that allows so many people to find you, and then they get to have this beautiful interaction with that. And maybe you'll change something for them too. With the relationship with the audience thing, I didn't really think about it in the way that the audience does feedback into you too. I mean, that is true that like you get from them. It's not just that they get stuff from you. The feedback you get from the audience, just it all is like this loop that just goes right back into the art.
I think that's what makes you a true artist. Yeah, 100%. That's what makes you a true artist, is that when you can actually take everything around you, and those experiences, and especially like having people share those similar experiences or feeling comfortable to do that with you. I mean, you got to, you have the opportunity to really take that in and do something with that, man.
There's something intimate about it for sure.
And you have the right to either be like, oh, I know a lot of people that they just turn on the blinders. I mean, they literally talk to fans in a numb tongue. They're not even listening to what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, teach their own again. I just what attracts me the most to a lot of the bands that I started to like were I'd watch the bands who wouldn't sit in the bus the whole time. I'd watch the guys who'd walk around. And I don't care if it's necessarily interacting, but didn't sit in the bus the whole time. That was something that was really big with me when I was growing and I was touring. A lot of the bands I toured with would just sit in the bus in the van until they played. I said, screw that. It was number one rule. I said, get the fuck out of the bus, everybody. And so everybody gets out the bus and we hang out at the show, inside, outside. Go walk the block and go get some food if you want. We're not sitting inside the van or the bus. It's not what we're out here doing.
Wow.
If I want to sit in the bus with my boys, I'll go back home.
Wow. That's a great way to look at that, because it sends a message to the fans for sure. Or just
That's how I've done what I've done, man. I'll be honest with you. That was probably the biggest key in it lies within. You think that's what created the community? It was the biggest thing, is we made sure that we were out there in the community. Can't build it if you're not in it.
Yeah. And I think, going back to the independent thing, I think a lot of people nowadays, they're so online, so chronically online, they don't even know what that is. Like, you have to be in people's faces in real life. That's what really makes them remember you.
You have to. I mean, I understand that there's YouTubers and SoundCloud rappers and artists, and I understand that there's like internet sensations and stuff like that. But again, like also, if you look at most of the people that have done that, like the songs or the music, it was normally one song or one hit that did it. And it was normally this like crazy niche or subject that they were talking about that was abrasive in some kind of way, or funny, I should say, right? Those are tools that people use. It was never really like, hey man, listen to this song. This is a really good song.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was like, dude, he's talking about blue munchos over there or some shit like that. Like, and again, I'm not taking away, but it's subjective. It's always about something that was just abrasive or niche based, and then people were just like, oh, dude, listen to this, shark song. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's literally just so not, hey, listen to this really good song. So with that being said, is getting back to, you'll know if it's good when you get out there and perform it in front of people.
Yeah.
That's when you know if you really got something good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like to liken it to a comedian testing out a bit on an audience.
Dude, that's a very good comparison.
Yeah.
That's a scary comparison, actually. That's really good.
Well, just because, like, it's very, very similar. I mean, you don't know what your music's actually gonna do until you go out there. There have been songs where I made it, I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is fire. Like, this is good. And then I perform it live and it just fell completely flat.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so this is good, maybe in a completely different format.
Yeah, some
but
songs
not
are
here.
studio songs and they're not live songs, though, right?
Yeah,
That's why you
exactly.
pick certain songs to perform live also, right? That energy,
Yeah. But in a live band too, you can definitely do that in a whole different way, because you can iron out a song live. You could be like, yeah, the audience really responds to when we do the outro. Maybe we go 10 times that on the outro. Maybe we just have fireworks at the end, like really go all the way, because like you see the things that they play into, you see the things that kind of lose them, and you learn the dynamics of that. And I think that goes back to what you were saying about touring too. Once you've done that enough, you can incorporate that into your songwriting every time you're going in.
Songwriting, but more importantly, what's really cool is when you get to that level, you actually get to restructure the live sets to where you actually go back into the audio files and extend certain parts, because the fans are going to react to you a certain way, or you'll open up breaks in your music, so you actually get to reconstruct your music based on the live performance.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
And it's so cool.
Yeah,
it's so cool. Whether it's having them chant back at you, or you do this big wall of death call, or you actually get to stop the song, but you extend that loop that's right there in the background while you're talking, because it's all timed out, and you really get to adjust your music based on the live environment. Oh boy, let me tell you, baby, that's the sauce.
Yeah, because once you're really in the thick of it, like you create a real show.
Yeah, it is a show. It's a party.
It's a party.
It's a fucking party, bro.
Do we have any parties coming up? Are there any live events that people
man,
can
I'm
look
glad
forward
you
to?
brought it up, man, because, basically, kind of, wrapping it up with all this stuff, dude, it's just like we've got so much on the plate. We have a new music video coming out soon that will drop before our upcoming tour. We did announce our latest upcoming tour in July with an awesome band called Outlier. If you guys haven't heard of them, please go check them out. It's actually OVTLIER. The guys are all over Sirius Satellite Radio right now. The guys are booming. They just announced another huge tour today. Great friends of ours. And again, that's what's super cool is us kind of coming back, like, really good friends of ours that are doing big things too are bringing us along and just really, really setting the tone for us to kind of come back out full swing. And then you might be seeing a Life Right Now headlining tour by the end of the year. So that'd be pretty cool to get back on that comfortability of the midline, I call it mid-level headlining runs, you know what I'm saying? So nothing too big, but definitely nothing small. And that's the feel-good area for me, man.
Nothing too big, but nothing small.
Yeah.
You had a tour not that long. It was 2015. But would you call it creeping on the come up? Is that what you'd say you're doing?
Yeah, the creeping on the come up, man. That's from a Bones Thugs and Harmony reference, man.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, for sure.
So we definitely do got that hip hop love inside of it.
There's no doubt about that, man. It's funny that you said that because that was actually with Nevada Rose, which is what Justin was in that band. So funny you brought that up, and that's when I met Justin, and that was actually the second longest tour that I've ever done. So I believe that was like 28 days or so, and I think we did 24 shows in those 28 days, man. So
holy
that was a run, man, out to the West Coast and back. But again, man, that's like all those little things lead to big things, man. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm so grateful to have the musicians that I have now in my band, and we put it all together. You know what I mean? We just put it all together, and then they're my best friends. I mean, they're my brothers. I didn't have to grow up with them down the street. I didn't have to do music with them my whole life to realize that, because when you share the same passion and the same vision and the same goals, it all starts to click, man. And I tell you what, I love every single one of my brothers, man. And dude, we got some things coming, man. So we're going to be out here on the road. For you Michiganders out there, we'll be in Hillsdale, July 22nd. So come and check it out there. We'll definitely be having some more local Flint stuff coming up here later on in the year. But you guys, we're out here. We're across the country now, and maybe more after that. You never know. So just come out here and see us. Check us out on the Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Life Right Now, baby. Let's go.
And then to wrap it all up, is there any message you got for the people watching? Anything you want them to really take away from this?
Man, I just want to say a couple things, man. First and foremost, man, I'm just very thankful to be able to do what I did in the past, and then to have the opportunity to be able to come back, man. I couldn't do this without any of you guys. I couldn't be who I am without any of you guys, and I can't express that more, man. I'm so very, very, very thankful for everybody who's been a part of my life, my career, who's helped me out, and the people that are still here, you know what I mean? And so with that being said, I just want to kind of project that to be like, dude, hey, man, I was just an average dude, you know what I mean, from an average town, you know what I'm saying? And I just go after anything you want to do. Go after it. Don't be afraid. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do it, but don't be afraid to voice it to people that do love you, because they will support you, man. And I just really, really appreciate you taking the time to have me on this show, as always. I hope to do it again soon. I want to give you mad props for everything that you do, boy, because I'm telling you, you are killing it, man. So everybody make sure you go check out this guy and his music on the regs. You already know that. And you guys, man, Flint Town, stay down. Zachary Scott, it's Life Right Now. Thank you very much.
Awesome, man. Thank you for coming on here. You guys, go make definitive choices, all right? Go be yourself. Go tell people what you want to do. Believe me, they're going to be pretty cool about it. Ruse Radio, clocking out.